Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very, very, very special guest. Infielder in the Dodgers organization, Elijah Hainline joins Dodgers Daily. Elijah, I've enjoyed watching your game all the way back to Washington State. I knew all about you because a buddy of mine here in Stillwater actually recruited you, Marty Lees, while he was the head coach at Washington State. So knew all about you, followed you at Oregon State, talked to Kyle Fromke, who played in the Dodgers, about you. I knew all about your game. I was super excited about it, so welcome in, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about your relationship with Coach Lees, how he got you to Washington State, and then your relationship with Coach Green. I know you left Washington State whenever he went to be the head coach at Wichita State, but talk about that part of it.
Yeah, I got recruited by Lees after like my freshman year, so in the summer of after freshman year in high school. Washington State was just always kind of the dream school, and I got an opportunity with him. He recruited me, and then he left or whatever happened with that, and then Green stepped in, and I was still in high school, and he decided to come in and I came down to a camp, and he said, like, we want you too, like we're gonna give you a little more on your scholarship, so you know that we want you too. So it's not just a Marty Lees thing, but so he was very nice about that and really cool about that whole experience. Because I mean, obviously as a kid in high school, you worry when the head coach leaves. And now you don't really know where your place is going to be anymore in that organization. So the fact that Green kind of gave me that opportunity to still come there and added on to it to show that he was interested was a really cool aspect of that.
So you grew up in Spokane. You had to be a Gonzaga fan, right?
Gonzaga, yeah. I grew up watching all those games, and one of my friends, his mom works for the team, so I got to go to quite a few basketball games here and there. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, this is probably before your time, but I'm still pissed at Adam Morrison for hitting a buzzer beater against OSU in what now we know as the Chesapeake Arena, the Thunder play in there. But that was probably 20 years ago. So, and no Gonzaga. Why not Gonzaga? Why Washington State instead?
I don't know. I guess I just kind of grew up watching both of them, and WSU kind of recruited me before. I never really got an offer from Gonzaga before I had committed to Washington State. So I'd committed pretty early on, and they were going to end up waiting probably for a few years, and so I just never got that scholarship offer or anything like that.
I always ask people who grow up in fairly cold climates like you did in Washington, how in the world do you play baseball? How in the world do you grow up in a cold climate liking baseball?
You just kind of get through it. You wear a lot of layers, and I mean, if you have a love for the game, you'll figure a way out. But I mean, a lot of layers, and I didn't learn this until college, but Tiger Balm, throw that on, keeps you a little warmer like football players wear. So you find little secrets, a lot of hand warmers, a lot of that stuff. But I mean, you just kind of find ways to grind through the weather.
All right, let's back up all the way to your days there in Spokane. You played in the 14U Team USA championships. You played in a couple of Babe Ruth World Series. You also played in a Perfect Game World Series. Man, I ask, how do you grow up loving baseball? Well, those are some pretty cool experiences to make you like the game right there, right?
Oh, yeah, great opportunities and loved them all. I mean, the championship was with just different teams around the Northwest. So it was like Baseball Northwest. You grew up doing that and kind of like their showcases. And then you make their teams, and they send you off to tournaments. So like the Perfect Game tournaments were through Baseball Northwest's like national team that they have, where they just bring all the guys from the Northwest. And you create a team and go play against guys all over the world. So we went down to Florida to do a couple of those tournaments, or like Arizona and stuff. So really cool opportunities to get to like play against players around and see different experiences and play against better players and just get better opportunities to play against the best competition and see kind of where you stack up against it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. You also went to Meade High School there in Spokane. You played for Coach Hare. You also played for the Spokane Expos. So talk about those experiences.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hare came in my freshman year was when it was his first year too. So through the 4 years that I was there, like he was also there for the 4 years. So it was kind of just a great relationship to start like right away, because we're both new. So it's kind of just a fun opportunity. And he gave me a chance freshman year to play for varsity. Like a lot of kids don't get to play varsity freshman year because of certain schools. So he gave me the opportunity to play, and I kind of ran with it and enjoyed all 4 years of that. And then I think I played for the Spokane Expos since I was like, I don't know, 11 or 12 and something like that. So all the way through like 19U and up until college. And even before college was playing there, like I had like a early on, like go to the WSU and kind of like get to know the facilities and the campus for like a month or two, but I was still going back and forth to go play a couple tournaments with the Expos too. So, I mean, both of those places just have a really great spot in my heart.
Lots of long weekend tournaments. Did you ever have one of those Sundays where you played like at 8 o'clock in the morning and your final game was like at 11 o'clock at night?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure at a young age I probably played 5 games in one day. Yeah. Couldn't do that now, but yeah, I'd find a way, but wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Absolutely. Okay, so you had 2 really, really good years at Washington State. You loved your time there. But then Coach Green takes the job at Wichita State, and I don't think people realize when you lose your coach, I mean, you lose the guy who has your back, right? I mean, that is such a big deal in baseball because it's such a game of failure. So then you have the opportunity to go to Oregon State, which is one of the best programs in the United States of America. Take us through that decision and your time at Washington State.
Yeah, Washington State, I loved it. I mean, it was the first opportunity. And again, like I said, like growing up, that was the school that I always wanted to play for. So even now, like Washington State has a great place in my heart, and I'll never say anything bad about it because I still go there all the time. Like my fiance is there and stuff like that. So going to see that, but yeah, like great opportunity there. And Coach Green had left and kind of shocked us all. And then I didn't really know what the spot was. So I was like, well, we haven't made the Pac-12 tournament in a few years. And I kind of just wanted to get an opportunity to play postseason baseball, not knowing where the environment was or anything like that with the new coach coming in, not really knowing that. So hopped into the portal and got a call from Canham and the guys at Oregon State. And they were super amazing, had a great opportunity to go there. And I mean, we just ended up short, but that was the first time I got to play postseason baseball in college. So it was a great experience.
But Mitch Canham does such a wonderful job, and he's one of the most legendary Oregon State players of all time. So just that whole thing had to be, just seeing the excellence of that program had to be really influential to you.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing guys come back from different years, like Rutschman came and talked to us, yeah. Boyd came and talked to us, like guys like that. And like when I had first posted on Instagram, like a picture of us during media day, I was wearing number 3 and Nick Madrigal commented. So it's like stuff like that like there's just so many ties from older players, and there's so much tradition in just the organization that you see championship baseball through the years. And it's cool because all the players want to come back and want to talk to you guys and want to be part of the organization. So it was a really cool experience that I wasn't even expecting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Take us through draft day. I know draft day was really cool for you.
Yeah, draft day was a wild one because I kind of was just hanging out and with my family or whatever, and didn't even get a call. Saw the name pop up on the little like draft board, and I was like just shocked because the Dodgers weren't even like on my radar for a team that would take me, and ended up like knowing about them and talking to my agent and all that. Like they're one of the best organizations in baseball, if not the best. So like being able for a team like that to draft you and want to help you, I mean, that's the best opportunity you can get.
Absolutely. And one thing that kind of matches the way that, at least early in your Washington State career, of course, when you're a freshman, you just, hey, put me anywhere, coach. I don't care as long as I'm on the field, right? So you played a lot of third base. You played some second base, some shortstop, obviously, which is, I think, probably where your natural home is at. The Dodgers love versatility. You've been versatile in the past. So is that something you want to continue to pursue, or would you rather stick at shortstop?
To be honest with you, as long as I'm playing in the big leagues and making an impact and winning championships, you can put me anywhere you want. I feel and trust my ability to play shortstop or up the middle anywhere. I think that's where I give the most impact and have the ability to impact the game the most. But again, like if you needed me anywhere, I'd be able to play it and play it well. So
let's fast forward to August of this last season after you got drafted. I think I'm probably going to bring a smile to your face. You probably remember that day, right? 106 mile an hour single to start out with, man. right?
Yeah.
Came in with a bang, 106 miles an hour. Talk about what you remember about that.
Yeah, I just remember I was trying to get my swings off. I hadn't seen a pitch in like a month or two after the season, just because you play your last game, and we played in Kentucky and hadn't played in a game since being drafted, and then didn't have any plans of getting sent out here. The organization didn't have any plans of sending anyone out, really. Like, that wasn't the plan, but with like the whole draft and then the trade deadline, things happened. They sent me out and went right into games right away, flew in that day, and then got into a game and just went out there and tried to do the best I could to put some good swings on it. But honestly, just trying to get my swing off. He hung a curveball and just hit one right up the middle and got my first hit, and it was a pretty great experience.
Oh, that is a great experience. So what was it like, you play in this super intense regional at home, and then you go to this super intense super regional in SEC country, halfway across the entire country at Kentucky. I mean, it's packed. It's in this, the fans are rabid. And then you come to professional baseball that's way more laid back, right? Was that kind of difficult for you to transition?
It was definitely a really weird experience because, like, our regional had, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 fans, and then the super regional had like 8,000 or 9,000 fans out of Kentucky. Everyone's doing these cheers. Guys have walk-up songs, and the whole fans are doing everything with it. And then you go to pro ball, and there's maybe 1,000 fans in the stands on the good nights, on Friday nights and stuff. So it's like you kind of have to find ways to amp yourself up and, I guess, want to win the game. Like, not want to win the game, but like feed energy from among your teammates more than you get from the fans, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there a big transition on the field in terms of the quality of talent, or did you find that the Pac-12 and the competition you played was fairly similar to what you saw at Rancho?
I think the competition was better in pro ball. I think it's just more consistently better. I think the guys that are in the Pac-12 that are the best of the best, the Friday night guys that you see, those are the guys that you're seeing every night in pro ball. So it's just consistently more better stuff, just more power stuff too, honestly. But overall, it's really great competition in the Pac-12. By no means is that a slouch conference, but it's a little different in the ways that people pitch. Like, in the Pac-12, it's a little more like, I'm going to try and throw a breaking ball with location here, where in pro ball, it's kind of just, I'm going to throw as hard as I can right down the middle, and if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If not, like whatever. But they're just trying to throw it as hard as they can, or try and throw their best breaking ball, kind of see where it ends up. So it's just kind of a little bit different in how they approach it.
Yeah, so a light moment here. Let's fast forward. You get your first hit, right? That's a big deal. And then you get your first broken bat, because in college you use, and in amateurs you use aluminum bats. So you've never broken a bat before, right? So, I mean, like you're looking at this broken bat in your hand, and it's like a weird experience. And then all of a sudden you break like 3 bats in the same game, right? So take us through that whole experience. That's kind of a funny story.
You kind of get attached to baseball bats as a hitter. I'm sure, like, you start getting your bats, and then I got my name on a bat for the first time on a wood bat. So it's kind of like an emotional attachment. And I broke my first one, and I was in just shambles. I was like, this is just so sad. Then you grabbing a new one, the same bat, and then I think I had a broken bat game where I just had 3 in a row, like 3 at bats in a row, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, you can't just miss a ball now and get away with it. So you got to really, really hunt for a barrel.
You absolutely do. Hey, were you there for the 10 RBI Cameron Decker game?
I was. That was unbelievable.
Do you remember anything about watching that?
I just remember him and Kendall George. I didn't even realize he had 10 RBIs or even close until they had mentioned it on the board, because it was just him and Kendall George just going at it. Like, each of them, I think, had 5 hits, and he came up for his 6th at bat or something, and you just are like, oh, can he go 6 for 6 now? And he just barrels another ball, gets on second base, and they're like, he just had 10 RBIs. And you're like, wait, what? He had 10 RBIs. You don't even realize it, because everyone's kind of hitting really well that game, and you don't even realize it until they mention something, and you're like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
One of the things that's very impressive about you, obviously, your exit velos are when people find your TrackMan data eventually, whenever it becomes public, it'll turn their heads. They'll be, oh, dang, this dude hits the ball hard, right? Okay, but then also the thing to me that's going to translate the most at the professional level, you talk about transitioning to wood, you got to find barrels. Your pull percentage, your middle percentage, meaning using the middle part of the field, and then your oppo percentage are all like within 1 or 2 points of each other in the low 30s. I mean, where did you learn to use the entire field like that?
My freshman and sophomore year at Washington State, it was very opposite field heavy. Okay. That was kind of the approach, was just always trying to go opposite field and learn how to hit the ball with backspin to the opposite field consistently. So the first 2 years, that was a really big focus of mine, was just trying to learn how to hit it that way. And then you go to Oregon State, and they're very big pull side. So just learning how to try and, I guess, spray the field and learn how to put the two together was definitely something that I've been trying to learn for the last few years. I don't, I guess, hit the ball the pull side as well with backspin, so that's kind of been a big focus of this offseason, is just trying to learn how to hit with backspin so those balls fly out of the yard instead of staying in or top spinning or something like that. So that's been a big focus of this offseason, because I'll backspin a ball to right field, which is great, but I have to do that same thing with power to the pull side too. So that's kind of been the big focus.
So I've been meaning to ask somebody in professional baseball, especially nowadays, to be able to hit the ball to all fields. Is that something where you have to hunt pitches in a certain location and have a plan as to where you want to hit that pitch when you get that location? Or is it still kind of the amateur outlook to where you're just looking to adjust to where the pitch is at? Are you still able to do that?
There's a lot more reports now, so you can kind of do a little bit of both. But, I mean, obviously the approach is hit a fastball and adjust to anything off speed, but just trying to look to do damage up the middle and allow your body to adjust and be an athlete. I think you train enough and you work on it enough, you're able to adjust and do what you need to in order to get the best result from different kinds of pitches, but you're hunting fastballs and then being able to adjust off of it. But there's some scouting reports where you're going to go up there and you're going to be sitting on a slider or something like that. So just being able to trust your plan and trying to trust the approach and know how to change your approach a little bit and I guess change it a little bit depending on the pitcher. It just kind of depends on the guy that's throwing.
One thing that you're very well known for is your clutch gene. Obviously, great athlete, good exit velos, really, really nice arm, especially from the shortstop position. But really, in baseball, the one thing, the clutch gene, seems like you love the big moments. And I've had this question asked before of me, how do you make a kid clutch? And really the only way you can do it is just keep putting them in those situations until they learn how to handle the moment. And with all your experience in the Babe Ruth World Series and the perfect games and the 14U, Team USA, Oregon States, I would have to think all that played into that, right?
I think just playing in big moments again, like I said, going to Oregon State and playing in front of a lot more fans who actually care about kind of what happens. Not saying Washington State fans don't, but they really get on you. Like, I wasn't hitting as well the first couple weeks at Oregon State, and I mean, you try not to look at social media, but they're kind of reaming you on there. So you just kind of have to learn how to play through that, and I guess just clear your mind and play the next game and play the next pitch. And I think that was a big focus of and something that me and Canham had talked a lot about, was just trying to learn how to play with that pressure and understand how to play with that pressure. So just being very, very focused on that pitch in that moment instead of worrying about what's going to happen or what the situation might even be. Sometimes you know the situation, but you don't want to focus on it because then it's going to put a lot more pressure on you. You're just trying to do your job, and I guess that's kind of just how you get through those kinds of moments.
All right, the last question about business for me, then we're going to get some fun questions. But what things you've seen the highest levels, man? You've seen the Oregon States, now you've seen the professional ball. And so what things do you feel like you Elijah Hainline, right now are doing well enough? If you got the call up to start the season at the major league level, what things do you think you're good enough to do right now at the major league level consistently? What things do you think you need to continue to work on the most?
I think my defense is at a really good spot right now, especially just playing. I grew up doing a lot of defense. So defense, I was always more of a defensive-minded kid growing up until the bat kind of started coming around in college. But I think defense is definitely my strongest suit, and I think that I definitely have the ability to stick at the major league level at shortstop. I think that's definitely something I have the ability to do. And obviously the bat's hard and hitting's hard, but I think that's definitely getting better as the years go along and start learning more. I'm down here at Driveline really focusing on that kind of stuff and really getting everything dialed on that. But I'd say just really grinding every day and trying to have a routine. I think that's what stands out from big leaguers and other guys, is just the consistency. So I'd say just learning how to be consistent every day with your routines and different things that you do. I think that's really just the biggest thing that I can work on over the next year or so, and hopefully playing the big leagues within the next couple of years. So
just so people know, I spent 5 minutes on my reverse mirror, because that lid's sweet, by the way, that Los Angeles hat. And I kept trying to get it where I could read Los Angeles, and I was like, dude, I can't figure this out. And you're like, no, that's backwards, right?
No, it's just upside down, but it is
upside down.
Weird,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few people mention it before where they're like, wow, that's a interesting hat. I don't know. It's kind of cool though.
That is
kind
cool.
Of something different.
Yeah. Where'd you get it?
Somewhere online. I honestly don't really know, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun. Okay, you ready to answer some fun questions?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've talked about the cold moments. You talked about hand warmers, some of the tricks that you've learned. You have to have one or maybe a couple memories of the coldest moments you can ever remember playing baseball in.
The moment you mention that, the only thing I think about is we played BYU at home, and it was there for out of conference games. There's no regulation of there's no Pac-12 regulation of how cold it can be. Like in Pac-12 play, it can't be under 32 degrees to start a game, but out of conference, there's no minimum that has to be there. So we were playing in 14 degrees, but the wind chill was I think they said it was 10 degrees. It's snowing, blowing on your face. You got 3 layers on, and I think I hit a ball a little bit off the end, and it just rang my hand. And the whole rest of the game, I was just like, I don't want to play right now. There's nothing fun about this right now. It's one of those games that, not to say you want to do it, but just kind of hope you get through it quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Those games, you're just if I were to strike out 4 times and the rest of my teammates were to strike out 4 times and we won the game,
I'm good.
It's going to be all right.
And inevitably you have that one coach that's in short sleeves and trying to act like it's not cold and trying to tell you that it's all mental. And I'm like, no, coach, this is all physical right now. I am physically freezing my ass off.
Yeah, there's always those guys, but I think when you get down to that cold, no one's trying to be the macho man in that. And I think everyone's just you got it. Get out there and give it your best today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The guy's throwing about 92 and the ball's moving, throwing a little cutter. It's like, no, thank you. Okay. Who is the most famous person you have in your cell phone right now that you could call right now? They'd pick it up.
Oh, I don't know if they'd call. Or if I called them, I don't know if they'd pick up. But when I was in the transfer portal, I had a call from Troy Tulowitzki, so he's in my phone right now, which is kind of cool. Yeah, he's in my phone. I don't know.
Was he trying to get you to go to Texas?
Yeah, and when I was in the portal, he had called me, and that was kind of a little cool talk, because it was that was a guy you grew up watching a little bit, and you're like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool.
Well, Gasparino's son is at Texas now. Billy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy went to OSU, and we were trying to get him to come to Oklahoma State, but I think he liked the bigger city of Austin a little better. Okay, you mentioned your coldest memory, but what is your best memory of playing baseball as a kid?
I mean, there's always great moments. I think one of my favorite moments that I can think of is in college, I hit a walk-off homer, and then there was another homer in the regional. I played in the regional, and I hit a go-ahead 3-run homer against Irvine and put us in the lead in that game, and then take us to the super regional. So that was a really cool experience. But just playing in postseason baseball, I mean, that's something you never forget about. Even though we lost to Kentucky, those moments are stuff you don't forget about.
Absolutely. Okay, not if, but when you sign your first multi-million-dollar contract with the Dodgers, what's the first thing you're going to buy, and where are you going to go for your first vacation?
Probably just continue to do what I'm not one of those types of people that's going to buy anything super fancy or anything like that. I try to use my money for good. So probably give back to different charities and stuff like that. I think would be a good opportunity for stuff like that. Especially stuff with my faith. I think that's been a big aspect of my life. So just being able to give back to people, I think that's what I really want to do with my money.
I was thinking you might say build a dome at Meade High School there, or maybe at Washington State and Oregon State, so they don't have to play in that 14-degree weather, right?
Well, that's giving back, so maybe I'll throw down some turf on one of those fields.
Okay.
All the fields out in Washington or in Spokane are dirt and grass. So the moment it rains and snows, it just gets destroyed. So maybe throw a little turf down out there.
All right. If you could have one superhero power, what would it be?
Wow, that's a good one. I think honestly, I know it's very generic, but I think flying would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. That absolutely would be. That's the one that most people say whenever I ask that question. Okay, so you played for John Shoemaker. Of course, you played for some great managers. Coach Green there at Coach Green there at Washington State, Mitch Canham at Oregon State. But nobody is a more professional manager. Nobody loves professional baseball more than your manager at Rancho Cucamonga, John Shoemaker. Every time I talk to somebody who played for him, just got done playing for him, I always ask this question. Have you ever seen John Shoemaker out of uniform?
Well, actually, a crazy experience, and I don't know if many people know this, but we were coming home after the season, and he was in normal clothes on the bus. Like, it was one of those crazy experiences because you don't see it often. He was in normal clothes, and we're on the bus, and we're riding back from Rancho back to Arizona for a little skills camp, and our bus had broken down probably like 45 minutes out from the place. And he threw on his baseball pants and his hat and started unloading the bottom of the bus so he could get onto a different bus. He changed out of his normal clothes to baseball pants to start unloading the bus. One of the craziest experiences you've ever seen.
That is absolutely awesome. Hey, Elijah Hainline, this has been such a wonderful honor. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. Like I said, I've been following you for forever. I was super excited when the Dodgers brought you in. So, hey, any final thoughts here? Anybody you want to thank? Any way you want to wrap this thing up?
Just excited to be part of the Dodgers organization for the next few years and bring championships back. And again, I mean, they just won it this year, so go get another one next year and play in the big leagues for a long time for the Dodgers and bring a lot of championships. I think that's kind of just the goal.
Yeah, so whenever you go to spring training, you need to get Shohei Ohtani's cell phone number. And you tell him, hey, if I call you, answer it. That way, if I can ask that question again, the answer can be Shohei Ohtani, right?
I've always been telling people, I said, I'm going to become best friends with Mookie Betts one of these days.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely fantastic. Elijah Hainline, this has been such an honor and a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining Dodgers Daily.
Thank you. I appreciate it.